Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel today. Finally, I'm back, right? Feels like a little while since I've put out a video. I went back to work this week, so it's a little bit busy here in South Korea. I'm in a car park, so I'm not in my typical place at home. Some people say it looks like a prison. Some people say it looks like a hospital. I can assure you it is my home. And this is me in the car, dropping my kids off at their art class. And I'm just going to make a little video. Now, one of my videos is pretty popular and it is all about avoiding people and the reasons why I avoid people. It's pretty important that I give you some background as to the reasons behind or the things that influenced me becoming the person I am today. The person that I am today and the person that you are today is more than likely shaped by your childhood, okay? Shaped by your experiences. And I'm no different, okay? Now, before I start this video, I just want to put it out there that I'm more than happy with how my life's turned out. I have a wonderful wife and two beautiful daughters, and I'm extremely proud of them all. But at the same time, I do appreciate my alone time and my solitude. In 1994, we moved to a country house in Scotland. It was a beautiful, beautiful location. We had a huge garden. It was in the countryside, but not too far away from, the main town. And I loved it there because there's a lot of freedom. I'd go out in the garden with a football. I even made a little golf hole in my garden, believe it or not. We had a pond, we had frogs in the summertime. It was awesome. Great memories there. However, inside the house was a little different, okay? It was on the one level and it was a huge, massive country bungalow. And in that bungalow, there were 4 bedrooms, okay? Now, my mum and dad obviously got a bedroom. My older brother got a bedroom, my sister got a bedroom, and I got a bedroom. My parents' room was at the very top of the house. My brother's room was right beside them. My sister's room was right beside theirs. And then a long hallway, a huge kitchen, another long hallway. Paul was at the opposite side of the house. Now, being the youngest, that was a pretty hard experience. Now, if you ask me, Paul, do you have any trauma in your life? Do you have things going on in your mind that makes you behave the way you do today? I don't have trauma. Now, I just want to put this out there, right, folks? I don't believe that I have any trauma. I live my life the way I want to live it. I believe bad experiences are exactly that. They're bad experiences. They're not trauma that I hold on to. Because I'm not a person that holds on to stuff in my mind. I say how I feel, and I say it to the people that I want to say it to. Now, maybe that's part of my flaw in my character because not everybody likes a straight shooter. Not everybody likes someone that wears their heart on their sleeve. But that's just who I am. And throughout my life, there's been good experiences and bad experiences. And for me, that's been the best way to deal with stuff because it doesn't stay up here. However, I do have a few unanswered questions that I want to cover in this video today. Why would my parents let me stay alone at the opposite end of the house at 12 years old? Now, if that decision by my parents to let their youngest stay alone and away from the family at the opposite end of the house was to create independence and inner strength and be able to feel comfortable in their own company and in the future to go ahead and travel alone to different countries by themselves, then I think that's a pretty cool decision they made. But I don't think that was the reasons behind it, because in my family, it was apparent to me as the youngest watching, my brother and my sister were in charge. And in that situation, it creates a family where the kids are in control and the parents are just trying to keep the peace. Now, as the youngest, I had no interest in arguing. I had no interest in getting into all that drama. I just didn't care. But I had respect to my parents. I had manners and I never lost that. So what's the result of that situation, folks? Paul gets put at the other side of the house. My brother gets what he wants. My sister gets what she wants. And that's it. So what is the negative effect of the youngest living at the opposite side of the house in a country house by themselves at night time, away from the other family members? Well, it takes you out of the family unit, okay? And that's how I felt. I was getting further and further away from my family. Even though I was still living in the same house, throughout time, it affected me a lot because at dinner times, I didn't want to sit with them at the dinner table in the kitchen. I would take my food and go back through to my room, watch TV and have some food. And I would be more than happy sitting by myself. So I was eating alone. So you can see at that age, I'm starting to become like a loner, like a black sheep of the family, right? I am on the outside and I felt like an outsider. So I would say that's kind of like forced independence at a young age. I had no interest even at that age making small talk with family. Sitting at the dinner table, hey, how was your day? Hey, how was this? How was that? This bored me to tears. Now, one of the hardest things when you're 12 years old at night time is when everybody says goodnight to each other, you can't hear them because they're all the way through 2 hallways and in different bedrooms. When I'm saying goodnight, when I was in my room, there's no one around me. And when you live in the country house, there's no neighbours around you. It's silent, it's quiet, it's dark. And it was pretty scary, to be perfectly honest with you. But I'm going to give you a little story right now, okay? So strap in, it's story time with Paul. On my very first night in that country house, obviously I was uncomfortable, I was pretty scared, right? New situation, on my own. I was getting ready for bed. I was in my bedroom, and I'll never ever forget this. As I was in my new room, I heard footsteps coming from the hallway outside my room. Now, I had my door closed because I was obviously trying to protect myself from the scary darkness of the country house. And during those days, my dad used to joke with me, right? So he would try and give me a fright or sneak up on me, whatever, right? So I heard footsteps coming from the hallway outside my room. Now, I kept the hallway light on at that time because obviously I'm the only one there. And as I heard the footsteps, I was thinking to myself, it's my dad, right? It's definitely my father. So I jumped out of my bed. I got up to the door and I basically put my ear to the door without opening it because I was still a bit scared. And I could hear these footsteps getting closer and closer and closer to my bedroom door. And eventually, those footsteps were right outside my door. Now, I listened so carefully, without making a sound myself, to know for sure my dad is outside that door. 100% I've got him, okay? Now, there's no pets, there's no reason for this noise. It was my father. So I quickly opened that door, I jumped out and I said, "Got you!" And I was met with utter silence. There was nothing in front of me, there was nothing behind me. It was just me. You think how I felt on that first night. That was my very first night in that country house. So, what did you do, Paul? I ran back in my room, I grabbed my pillow, I grabbed my bed cover, and I ran as fast as I could through the hallway, through the huge kitchen, through the other hallway, and into the TV room. And I slept in that TV room for the first 3 nights. And my parents were like, "Paul, don't be silly." I'm like, I heard footsteps outside my room. It was definitely something was there and it wasn't Dad. So what the hell is it, you know? And at 12 years old, you're pretty spooked, you're pretty freaked. And my parents wouldn't believe me. So I was back in my room 3 days later. In that half of the room, the house that I used to live in was always cold. Always cold. Their half was always warm. So whenever I got into my half of the house, I always felt cold. It was a kind of eerie feeling in that half of the country house. And when you used to walk about the kitchen and the hallway going to my room, you always felt like something was watching you. But that was my real experience, folks. No joke, no drama, truth. That's what I experienced. I wonder if you've experienced something like that too. I'd be really interested to know. So when you spend that much time on your own, when you're away from your family during the evening time, when you don't sit with your family for dinner, for lunch, for breakfast, this creates a huge gap that only gets wider and wider, okay, as long as you're in that situation. And of course, going through my teenage years, when I was maturing, when I was growing up, I was getting stronger and I was getting stronger and I was getting more comfortable in my own company. To eventually the point was I was utterly happy in my own company. I was happy to be alone. I realized I didn't need anybody else. I also developed my lone wolf mentality, right? This gave me the strength later in life to do what I'm doing today. I'm in South Korea. I am way far away from home. I've been gone for the last 19 years. It'll be almost 20 years at the end of this one. Now, I'm a lone wolf, folks, but I'm not lonely, okay? I am happy in my solitude, but I also try to balance my life because obviously I'm a father, I'm a husband. My family is number one in my life, so important. So I spend a lot of time with them, but I also spend a lot of time with me. Looking back on my life, I'm not bitter. I am completely and utterly content. I am happy for the experiences that I went through. If I could go back in time in that country house from living alone for 8 years in that side of the house, would I change it? No, I would not change it, because I am so happy in the person that I became today. I would hate to be someone that needs people all the time, because for me that is a nightmare, okay? Now, when I talk about people, I don't hate people, okay? And when I say I avoid people, I avoid most people because most people are not the people that I want to hang around. There are still some good people out there, no doubt about it. The community that I've built on this channel, thank you all very much for subscribing, supporting me. New viewers, welcome. It's opened my eyes, it's opened my heart, and it's really, really cool because I've realized there's so many people that are on the same kind of wavelength as me, and I think that's great. So to close up this video, my experience was good, my experience was bad, but it was just that. It was experience. Everything you go through in your life shapes you into the person that you become. It is how you deal with these situations that will dictate whether you come out the other end successful, stronger, or weaker and affected by it. Now that I'm a father, I will raise my daughters the best that I can, and I'll always do the best things by them. But at the same time, I'm in control. My wife is in control. The parents need to have that authority, and so we will make the right decisions for them. All right, folks, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me again today. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I'll speak to you next time. Goodbye.